Welcome back to Positive Life and Great Relationship. So today, in this edition, we're going to discuss why do people that we know struggle, like when we try to tell them that we give them advice and we try to tell them something like why do they criticize us and come off really strong, like we're trying to control them. I'm sure you know a few people in your lives that do that to you, like where you care to see them succeed and you want them to do great things, but it seems that they're always very hostile and very they get very angry at you. And how do you deal with those people? You know, because it gets much more deeper than just that they don't want to hear you tell them. They think that you may be putting them down or looking, as them as failures. But that's not the case, though, and that becomes a problem because you try to do what is best for them, and they try to think that you want something in return. They'll remind you that. They'll remind you that don't expect anything or don't hope for things that I can't give, And for them to think that in their mind, that it goes really further back. That they've always been, in a way, told what to do. Maybe not having responsibilities could be the source of it. Because, when you work in jobs, I've been working since I was a kid. I used to do comics way back in the late 80s, and I worked at a comic shop, and I was a comic dealer, and I've done a lot of stuff with, just working at a young age. Even younger than that, I used to cut grass and just really be into just working, and because my dad he was in the military and he worked hard, so I wanted to do to be have good strong work ethics. Is this that some people don't have responsibilities in a way of when they finally get responsibilities, then it becomes challenging for them and overwhelming, and they just don't want to be told what to do. Because if you're at a job, people are going to tell you what to do. If you're on a set in Hollywood, if you work for a major studio, you work for an independent studio, if you do anything related to anything with your dream, if you're not owning your own business, somebody is going to tell you what to do. Is this that we have close friends, family, relationships, and we sometimes have really good, advice. We're not telling anyone how to live their life, that we're just really sharing ideas and telling someone. If we see somebody's not putting enough energy and time into something and we feel that might be responsible for the reason why they have to abandon, their dream or their goals, then we're going to speak up and be honest and be open about it because we think that we can. But when we're getting criticized, it's okay to get criticized, but the thing is that if somebody comes to you and tells you this is the reason why you didn't accomplish this because you're complaining about why you didn't accomplish it and you're whining, then for them to come back at you with everything that you haven't done and that they're not going to listen to you unless you match their effort in something that's totally different. It's not the same, it's the same industry, but it's not the same skill level, And it's kind of unfair. And it's okay when you're confident, you're okay. When you're confident, you could handle it. But the thing is that you didn't expect them to put your stuff under a microscope, because if they're always bringing their problems to you, then of course, if you're listening to everything, you need to respond. Are you just only going to listen? That all there is going to be recordings or messages and everything from their side, and you have no opinion of it, then that's just a one-sided way of communicating. It's not positive communication, healthy communication. So of course you're going to respond. But when you respond, then they're going to be nitpicky with certain things that they don't like. Instead of like listening to everything, they're going to listen to what they didn't like, and then they're going to get hostile towards you. It's because they're dealing with things that they can't handle. The pressure, the stress, they can't handle their lives. And they may have made decisions that put them in a situation that makes them feel like that everyone's telling them what to do or judging their life, being critical of them. And maybe they have people in their lives that have controlled them or have always wanted something in exchange for helping. I help you, you give me this. And maybe pretty women experience that if somebody does something nice for them, then they have to give something, and it's not always the case though, but it's like that biased opinion or that assuming that there's motivation, there's intention, and they'll remind you over and over again. And it's like, what kind of friendship or relationship or meaningful relationship is that when you're reminded about something that they assume that you want because you're helping them? So if you encounter situations where you have someone that you care about and you want to see them succeed, and they put you in that situation to where they're judging you and they're being critical of your life, when you come to them saying, maybe if you did this or that, you're not telling them that they're a failure. You're not telling them that that they did all these things wrong. You're just telling them that maybe if you did this differently, that you put a little bit more time, energy, you were more productive or consistent. I mean, if you tell them that, then they're going to come back at you like blowing fire. Then the best thing is not to really worry about their lives anymore, because you did all you could. And then for them to treat you poorly and to disrespect you is not someone that you want in your life. Because if they're doing it now, then they will do it later, because they feel that maybe because of feelings or certain things that they think that they have to offer you is so important that they're able to use that as a way to put you down, to make you feel less. Or maybe they are superficial, materialistic, or just really are not responsible, and it just makes it feel like that they've lived their life a certain way and they don't see real life. And they might remind you of real life when you've already lived your life and have had way more struggles than these people. That you've done things in your life and they may act like that you haven't done things. I wouldn't say that I've been working since I was younger, or I served in the military, in the medical field, or I've earned 4 degrees up to a master's degree, or that I had a long-term relationship that didn't eventually work out, or I've been a writer for a long time, but I haven't felt at writing because I haven't given my effort. I haven't given all my effort to make it, because the thing is that there wasn't, maybe the time wasn't right. Sometimes you have to look at it that the time wasn't right, and that because you took longer, that you're able to meet people that you will surround yourself with in the future, positive support. And if you try for somebody to come to you and tell you what you're not doing when you were just saying one thing, and then they go all up in your life, then that becomes a problem, because you could just say one thing like, yeah, you don't put enough time into your dream. And all of a sudden they're exploding on your whole life. See, those are the people that have that shaky confidence, low self-esteem, that feel that everyone is attacking them for reasons that some of us could explain because we know more than other people. Like, we ask questions and we know, but other people may not know. People don't know the truth, so that means that people are not being true to themselves, because what they're showing on the outside is really not what's going on the inside. And that the reason why people might snap at you when you try to help them is because they get embarrassed. We might say something that ticks them off, and then all of a sudden they're doing the same thing that they don't want done to them, and then they're trying to get even. Because you know what getting even is? If somebody says something to you, you say it back to them. There's so many times I didn't say anything to people when they say things about my life or certain things or what they think, that out of respect I don't say things to them, because I know that if you're in Hollywood and you have like opinion because somebody says something and then we don't listen and we just tell them what we think because they're above us and we're working for them, then they're going to get rid of us, because there's like many more actors and writers that want to be in Hollywood. So meaning that listening is very important. Even like reading and listening. So if it's text message, you're reading, and you'll say stuff but you won't say the stuff. Is this that when somebody's dealing with many challenges, that is very easy for them to unravel, and we know what challenges they're dealing with. But that becomes a problem when you have a close relationship. These close friends like that then you enter say a phase where you can't even like really say anything. Then you can't be honest, and you have to hold back things. You can't really share how you really feel, because they'll make you feel like if you say something I don't like, then I'm going to be rude to you. Like, what type of person would do that cares about you and values you? It shouldn't be like, well, if you say something, you better watch out because I'm going to be coming back with fucking fire. That's not the way to treat a close friend or even a family member. I mean, people are going to get in their situations, but when you get into problems all the time over the same stuff of like, don't tell me what to do, don't tell me how to live my life, and why do you think you could tell me how to live my life? So what will we get out of that? Like, what are we getting out of that if we were telling somebody how to live our life? And why would we stick around for someone if they don't treat us good? Because maybe we see them getting better or growing or getting better for the future, and that maybe the way they're acting now is not going to be forever, that maybe they'll see things and we see potential in them. But it comes to a point where we start to feel like that, that maybe is this not worth it anymore? If you have friends, because your family's always going to be around, they're always going to be related to you, but if you have like really, really close friends, and they just don't treat you good and they don't value you, and they just make it hard to communicate, and they just have really like methods that are not like really healthy communication, then it's always good to reevaluate whether it's worth even maintaining that relationship anymore. It could have been meaningful at one time, but they just think that that because they have problems and they have pressure, that they allow that to seep into other relationships that they should protect, that ones that are valuable for them, that they could live their dream or accomplish their goals. And sometimes people don't want to listen. They don't want to listen because they assume that they're better than you because they've done things that they think are better, and that you can't say nothing to them because you need to prove yourself. Then why are you even friends with these people if they're in situations where you need to prove yourself to them? Like that you have to do something that's better than them so they can listen to you. things that you could save them time, because otherwise, why do we do things if we assume that nobody is gonna value us for like the things we do? Do we have to be experts at things? Everybody starts somewhere, that you gain experience and you do things, and then you can become better at them. But what if, like, would you want to go down the same road of like doing the same thing over and over again and thinking that you know everything, and then not accomplish what you want, and then it's everyone else's fault to blame? Like, everyone is to blame for why we don't succeed, because we keep doing the same things that get us nowhere. We get the same outcomes, and then it's somebody else's fault. That we have to take personal accountability, personal responsibility. So why do people act that way, where when you try to help them, that they come back all like angry and frustrated, and it's almost like you're the problem? Self-doubt, confidence issues, trust issues. People before you could have been controlling or treated them terrible. Personal responsibility. And just really valuing someone and not judging them for not having what others have that could give them the things that they want that you can't give them. So essentially, they're not really valuing you for who you are. That you have to become somebody that you're not for them to value you. So then it's okay for them to talk down on you a certain way. I'm walking a dog right now, up in the mountains, hiking. And just treating you a certain way because you're not always favoring them. That you're not giving them 100% of like, yeah, all these people are bad, and I feel bad for you. And I really support you 100%. That you didn't, that these people are horrible. That we can't do that if we know that they have a hand in their problem, and that they have some responsibility as well. And that sometimes it's not about blaming, it's accepting the fact that we have a hand in our daily problems, and that we could change things. We can make adjustments. And if we don't want to make the adjustments, then that is the reason why we keep experiencing problem after problem after problem. If we bring our problems to someone else and someone wants to solve them, but the thing is that we can't be problem solvers. That we can't solve the problems, because if something doesn't go right, then it's our fault. That they're not going to take personal responsibility when things go wrong. And it's okay, like for myself, to take 100% responsibility, but when it becomes a recurring theme and that they don't see it, then it creates problems. That we become a problem because we're not their problem. We have no connection to their problem, but we become a problem in their lives. That we are the big problem when we're trying to help them solve their problem. So then the thing is that don't solve other people's problems. And they say the opposite. Somebody in a recent screenwriting podcast said the opposite of talking is not listening, it is waiting. It was somebody in one of the screenwriting podcasts on Bulletproof Screenplay. There's some pretty valuable advice on that podcast. I would recommend you checking it out if you're a writer, or anybody that's in the industry that wants to know a little bit more, It's good to listen, listen to podcasts and really read and do things and not think that you know everything. If you do know things, that's good. It's good that you have knowledge. But when somebody comes to you and wants to help you and really cares and sincere, and then you just blow them off and just treat them, be rude to them, then that's not a really good approach, because somebody cares about you and that they're trying to help you. And they want to see you succeed, and they think that there's like some ulterior motive, or like there's some motivation inside like why you're doing it, and that you're trying to tell them how to live their life or what to do. So what's the purpose of that? Like, why would we want to tell somebody what to do? Like, how does that make us feel any better? That if they don't see that, then really, and it becomes a constant, issue, then maybe we should limit our contact with them and just talk to them less and really not put our energy, our time, and our effort into them because they don't really value us, and that they value the wrong people. Maybe they value money, they value the wrong things, maybe materialistic items, more superficial. It could be anything. It could be trust issues, confidence. There's a lot of things, you know. It just becomes a huge challenge that we have to do so much more to really reach them because of the way that people